Picture a yard at 6 a.m. 3 trucks idling, drivers checking phones, and by the end of the day, 2 of those rigs will spend nearly an hour driving empty. That empty hour is profit walking off the lot.
Welcome to the Veteran Entrepreneur Network. I'm your host, Cameron Burrell, Army engineer veteran, entrepreneur, and fleet services operator. We focus on real-world logistics and operations you can use today. Let's get into it. Quick promise. In the next 10 minutes, you'll get 3 simple metrics to measure now, 2 scheduling rules to cut empty miles, and a 2-week pilot plan you can run with just a dispatcher and a clipboard. Look, measure before you optimize. Start with 3 simple metrics: deadhead percentage, utilization rate, and revenue per driver per day. Those 3 tell the story fast. Let me show you how you'd record that in a 1-tab spreadsheet. Start odometer, end odometer, job type, then 2 extra columns for loaded miles and empty miles. No fancy integrations, just a consistent log. If you want a fast audit, ask these 3 questions for each route. Did the vehicle travel empty between jobs? Could 2 jobs have been chained on the same pass? And did the route start or end away from the yard unnecessarily? Those answers give you immediate priorities.
Next, cluster and schedule. Think of routes as blocks you can build and repeat. Rule 1, batch by geography. Stitch nearby stops into a single loop. Rule 2, batch by service type, so crews don't reload between stops.
Quick concrete example: 5 small wash jobs inside a 2-mile radius. Send 1 truck for a morning loop, not 5 different trips across town. Start and end points matter. When you can, start at the yard and finish at the yard to cut deadhead to docks. Now pricing. Convert efficiency into margins. Move from pricing by the hour to pricing by route block when possible. Create tiered route quotes with clear minimums to protect short hauls. That protects you on short hauls, where deadhead eats profit. If a driver spends an extra 30 minutes deadheading at about $25 an hour, that's roughly $12.50 in labor, plus fuel and wear, and that repeats across multiple jobs and trucks. Small numbers become real cash quickly. When you price by block, sell the customer on the benefits: predictable windows, bundled value, and fewer disruptions. Recurring customers like predictable schedules, and that makes route optimization easier without losing service quality. You don't need expensive routing software to start. A colored Google Sheet, a shared calendar, and a simple dispatch template get you most of the gains. 1 sheet for daily blocks, 1 for confirmed jobs, 1 for backlog. Color code areas and mark assigned trucks. Use Google Maps for basic routing and a group messaging app for quick updates. Those tools let you run a 2-week pilot without spending on software or waiting for an implementation team. Here's a fast manual workflow. Each morning, the dispatcher reviews the previous day's mileage log, flags routes with deadhead over 20%, then rebuilds 2 or 3 route blocks to test. Assign 1 driver to a pilot block and track odometers and job times. At day's end, update the spreadsheet. Compare deadhead percentage and revenue per driver, and note any service issues. Keep the checklist tight. Start and odos, job times, empty legs, and customer feedback. Day of communication matters. Brief your driver with a short script. Here's the loop today, expected windows, priority stops, and who to call if anything changes. Contingency rule. If a job runs long, skip the lowest value stop and reschedule. Don't create a long deadhead just to finish a marginal stop. Expect friction. Drivers and dispatchers will resist change. Involve them in mapping routes. Offer small incentives for pilot blocks that beat baseline KPIs, and keep changes minimal at first. Small wins build trust. Track 3 KPIs during the pilot: deadhead percentage, route completion rate, and invoice lag. How many days until you bill? Faster invoicing is a hidden efficiency. Move trucks onto revenue sooner, and the cash flow follows. 2-week pilot. Quick version. Week 1, measure and baseline. Pick 2 problem routes to rebuild. Run new blocks on 3 days and collect odometer and time data. Week 2, refine blocks, Adjust pricing minimums and involve drivers for feedback. At the end, compare. Did Deadhead drop? Did revenue per driver improve? If yes, expand one block. If not, revert and iterate. Try this for 2 weeks. You'll learn more than you expect, and you'll probably be surprised.
A few rules of thumb. Reduce one empty leg at a time. Don't over-optimize at the cost of punctuality, and price to protect margins on short routes. Simple changes are easier to keep and scale than complex ones.
If you want a starting checklist, I put together a route audit checklist and a 2-week pilot template you can download and use today. Download the route audit checklist at vetbizmedia.com/fleetwash and commit to the 2-week test.
Thanks for spending these 10 minutes with me. If this episode helped you spot a few empty miles you can cut this week, run the pilot and measure the results. Keep building, keep learning, keep moving forward. We'll see you on the next episode. If today's episode brought you value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share the podcast with another entrepreneur, veteran, owner-operator, or small business professional. For those interested in starting or growing a fleet washing business, visit vetbizmedia.com/fleetwash and download the Fleet Wash Business Blueprint, a practical guide covering equipment, pricing, operations, marketing, and business fundamentals.